Have you ever met someone who doesn't quite fit in, yet somehow always seems to be ahead of the game? Maybe they're quiet, reserved, or even labeled as weird. But deep down, you get the feeling they see the world differently, almost like they're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. These women are what we call Sigma females, independent, introspective, and operating on their own wavelength. Because they don't follow traditional social rules, people often misunderstand them. They're called aloof, mysterious, or even intimidating. But what if these so-called quirks weren't weaknesses, but signs of a rare kind of intelligence? In this video, we're breaking down 6 unusual traits that prove Sigma females aren't just different, they're brilliant. From predicting outcomes with eerie accuracy to questioning everything, these traits aren't just personality quirks. They're indicators of a mind that's constantly thinking, analyzing, and seeing patterns that others overlook. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just start seeing Sigma females, and maybe even yourself, in a whole new light. Number 1. They predict outcomes with scary accuracy. Ever had a friend who just knew something was going to go wrong before it even happened? Maybe you were excited about a new relationship, convinced this was the one. And while everyone cheered you on, there was that one person who stayed quiet, the Sigma female. She didn't say much, but maybe she raised an eyebrow or gave a subtle, "Just be careful." Fast forward a few months, and things fell apart exactly the way she seemed to sense all along. How did she know? It's not magic, and it's definitely not luck. Sigma females have a sharp eye for patterns, picking up on small details that most people overlook. They notice shifts in tone, tiny inconsistencies in someone's story, or even the way a person reacts in certain situations. Over time, they connect the dots, seeing the bigger picture before anyone else does. This ability isn't just limited to relationships. It applies to work, friendships, and even everyday situations. If a business deal feels off, or a group dynamic is shifting in a way that others haven't noticed yet, a Sigma female will sense it long before trouble actually hits. But here's the thing. People often dismiss this trait. They assume Sigma females are just skeptical, negative, or making random guesses. When they turn out to be right, it's written off as a coincidence. The truth is, their minds are constantly processing and analyzing the world around them, even when they don't realize it. They're not trying to prove a point. They just see what others don't. And while their insights might make people uncomfortable, they're rarely wrong. Number 2. Their brain never shuts off. Picture this. A group of friends is watching a movie together. Everyone is laughing at the jokes or getting lost in the plot. But the Sigma female? She's experiencing the movie in an entirely different way. While she's following the story like everyone else, her mind is also analyzing character arcs, predicting twists before they happen, and making connections to real-world psychology, history, or even a book she read last month. To her, this isn't overthinking, it's just how her brain works. Sigma females are natural mental multitaskers. Even during everyday moments like walking the dog or making coffee, their minds are running at full speed. They're replaying conversations from earlier, brainstorming ideas for a project, or solving a problem they didn't even realize they were working on. It's not something they force, it just happens. This constant flow of thoughts is what makes them great at problem solving and creative thinking. But it also means they rarely experience true mental rest. Because of this, people often misread them. Friends might assume they're distracted or not fully present, when in reality, they're processing information on multiple levels. At work, their quiet focus can be mistaken for disinterest, when they're actually thinking several steps ahead. It's not that they don't care. It's that their brains are wired to see deeper connections, patterns, and possibilities all at once. And while this can sometimes make them seem distant, it's also what makes them incredibly insightful, adaptable, and ahead of the curve. Number 3. They understand people better than themselves. Have you ever had someone notice you were upset before you even realized it yourself? That's the kind of emotional radar Sigma females have. They pick up on things most people miss: a slight change in tone, a forced smile, or the way someone avoids eye contact. Long before a person admits they're struggling, a Sigma female already knows. Not because they're prying, but because they can feel it. Imagine a group of friends hanging out. One person insists they're fine, laughing along with the conversation, but the Sigma female isn't fooled. She notices the hesitation in their voice, the way their laughter doesn't quite reach their eyes. Later, when she gently asks if something's wrong, the friend is surprised. How did she know? The truth is, she didn't have to be told. She just saw it. This deep understanding of people can be both a gift and a curse. On one hand, it allows Sigma females to build strong, meaningful connections. On the other, it can make people uncomfortable. No one likes to feel like their emotions are an open book, especially when they're trying to hide them. Some might even mistake a Sigma female's insight for being intrusive or overly intense. But in reality, they're not trying to expose anyone. They simply can't turn off their ability to read between the lines. Ironically, despite their ability to understand others so well, Sigma females often struggle to understand themselves. They spend so much time analyzing other people's emotions, motivations, and behaviors that they sometimes overlook their own. They might help a friend process their feelings with perfect clarity, but struggle to pinpoint what's bothering them. It's one of the strangest paradoxes of being a Sigma female. They can see right through everyone, except themselves. Number 4. They question everything, even the obvious. Most people are content to follow the rules without a second thought. Sigma females? Not so much. They don't accept things just because that's how it's always been done. Instead, they ask, why? Why do we follow certain traditions? Why are certain behaviors expected? Why is this the best solution? They don't question things to be difficult. They genuinely want to understand if there's a better way. Picture this. A work meeting is in progress. The team is discussing a new strategy, and everyone nods along in agreement. Then, the Sigma female speaks up. But why are we doing it this way? The room goes silent. Some people shift uncomfortably in their seats. To them, it sounds like she's challenging authority. But she's not trying to stir up trouble, she just sees flaws or inefficiencies that others are too quick to overlook. And more often than not, her questioning leads to better solutions. This habit doesn't stop at work. In everyday life, Sigma females are the ones who wonder why people measure success by job titles, why certain social rules exist, or why we're expected to behave a certain way in different situations. While others go with the flow, they want to know who made the rules and whether they still make sense. Of course, not everyone appreciates this mindset. Some see them as argumentative or contrarian, when in reality, they're just wired to think critically. They're not trying to be difficult, they're trying to innovate. And while their constant questioning can make people uncomfortable, it's also what helps them break free from outdated ideas and create something better. In a world where so many accept things without thinking, Sigma females stand out as the ones willing to ask, is there a smarter way? Number 5. They adapt unusually fast to new situations. Change can be overwhelming for most people. New environments, unfamiliar faces, and different expectations tend to throw people off. But for Sigma females, adaptation isn't just a skill, it's second nature. They have a unique ability to quickly analyze their surroundings, read the room, and adjust their approach without hesitation. Imagine starting a new job. Most employees take months to fully grasp the company culture, office dynamics, and unspoken rules. But a Sigma female? She picks up on everything within weeks. She notices who actually holds influence, who just pretends to, and which unwritten rules shape daily interactions. Before long, she navigates the workplace like she's been there for years, effortlessly blending in while staying true to herself. This adaptability isn't limited to work. Throw her into a new social setting, and she'll quietly observe before engaging. She listens more than she speaks at first, figuring out the group's energy, values, and hidden tensions. When she does join the conversation, she knows exactly how to interact in a way that feels natural, even if she's never met these people before. But this trait can be misunderstood. Because they adapt so seamlessly, some assume Sigma females are emotionally detached, as if they're just playing a role rather than being themselves. Others might mistake their ability to adjust for opportunism, assuming they're simply mirroring those around them to get ahead. In reality, they're just highly aware of their environment, making conscious choices rather than reacting on impulse. They don't change who they are. They just know how to move through the world in a way that works for them. Number 6. They see patterns everywhere. For most people, life feels random, events happen, people make choices, and trends come and go. But for Sigma females, nothing is ever truly random. Their minds are wired to recognize patterns, constantly making connections that others overlook. It's like having an internal algorithm that processes behaviors, trends, and decisions long before anyone else catches on. Picture this. A new fashion trend explodes seemingly overnight. Everyone rushes to buy it, but the Sigma female saw it coming months ago. While others were focused on what's popular now, she noticed the subtle shifts, small changes in style, the influencers quietly experimenting with it, the way people's tastes were evolving. She didn't guess. She just saw the pattern before it fully formed. This ability isn't just about trends. It applies to people too. Ever had a friend who kept repeating the same relationship mistakes? While others offer generic advice, the Sigma female has already spotted the cycle. She knows exactly how it will play out because she's seen the pattern before. She might warn them, but often people dismiss it as overthinking. Then, when things unfold exactly as she predicted, they call it a lucky guess. That's the frustrating part. People mistake this deep intelligence for coincidence or paranoia. They don't see the hours of observation, the quiet processing, the ability to connect the dots in ways that most people never even consider. But Sigma females don't need validation. They know what they see, and more often than not, they're right. Sigma females aren't just different. Their intelligence operates on a whole other level. They see patterns before they emerge, adapt quickly to new situations, and challenge ideas that most people take for granted. While the world may misunderstand them, calling them distant, overthinkers, or even difficult, the truth is, their minds work in ways that others simply don't. If you recognize these traits in yourself, embrace them. They're not flaws, they're superpowers. The ability to observe deeply, think independently, and navigate life with precision is rare. It's what makes Sigma females stand out, even if the world doesn't always know how to handle them. Now, I want to hear from you. Do any of these traits resonate with you? Have you ever been misunderstood because of the way you think? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay sharp and stay unapologetically you.